Hello, this is the Timeless Tarot, and in today's reading we're going to be looking at the sign of Cancer for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So whatever is coming in for you, Cancer, in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I've already laid out a spread, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Pentacles. Now this is the card of knowing your own worth. Pentacles is all to do with money, value, worth, wealth. And the Queen is about knowing your own worth. Now, that's the bottom of the deck. So that is what is hidden, if you like, what you cannot see. And I think this whole reading is going to be influenced by you knowing your own worth. So that is interesting. Perhaps you're a person who doesn't really value themselves terrifically highly. Maybe you know your worth in one area of your life and not in another. Perhaps you don't have much confidence at work, but you're very stable in your home life. Or maybe it's the reverse of that. Perhaps you're very confident at work, but your love life is a bit of a disaster. It's something like that. So this is about knowing your own worth. And I would say in all areas of your life, it's important to know your worth and to value yourself. I think there's something there about you needing to look at your own personal values, what you value in other people and what you value in yourself. And I think you're going to find there's a bit of a mismatch. I think perhaps you don't value yourself quite as much as you value other people. And I think you're going to need to have a good look at that aspect for this is going to be for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So potentially that's a theme that you could be working around during that time frame. Okay, right, so in the centre we have 6 of Rods. Wonderful. This is the situation and you're winning. You've won. You have won. Or you should have won by now. You should have won. Whatever it is you feel like you need to win at, you should have won. So if you feel like you should have made a lot of money by now, you're right, you should have. If you feel like you should have started a family by now, yes, you should have. If you feel like you should have found the right person to marry, yes, you should have. You should have won at whatever it is in your life you've been trying to win at. But what is crossing that, but you haven't won yet, because what is crossing that is feeling left out. Feeling that it feels like you're always missing out is what it feels like. I actually feel a little bit like I want to cry. This feels very sad that you're not where you want to be in life. That's what this is like. That's the feeling I'm getting. You're not where you want to be, and you should be. And you're sad about it. And I can understand that. Yeah. Particularly if it's to do with personal relationships. Very sad. You know, if you haven't found the love of your life yet, and you haven't started a family, or you haven't managed to find a nice house, or, you know, it's sad. Because those are the fundamentals of what we all want in life. Is some stability and some support. And it feels to me like you haven't got that. And so in certain areas of your life, you might be absolutely brilliant. And you might definitely be winning. But you're not winning in all areas of your life. Sadly. We'll try and work out why as we go along. What's crowning the situation is the World. What that means in simple terms is that's obvious to you. What's obvious to you and what's obvious to other people is that actually you have the world at your fingertips. You can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can be anyone, you can have the life you want. That's what it looks like. That isn't how it feels, however. I think to people who don't know you very well, they would be surprised to discover that actually you're feeling quite sad. To people who know you well, that won't be a surprise. I almost feel like you're not harnessing the full power that you could do. So for some of you, perhaps if this is to do with a relationship, you could harness the power of the world and get on and do some online dating. It's that sort of thing. Really, it's talking about you need to think a lot bigger. whatever the current problem is that you're not winning at, you need to think much, much bigger, in a much broader way. In order to get to win, you've got to think a lot broader. That's quite interesting. Right, what is underneath? This is what we haven't got. We haven't got our wishes coming true. We haven't got the happy ever after. And I'm going to have to be careful how I read this next card, because the Five of Swords could be a battle. So everything feels like a struggle because you haven't got where you want to be. Or potentially sometimes I read this card as a 2 and a 3, just because sometimes a battle isn't appropriate in a reading. And in that case, I would read it as it's like you have chosen heartbreak, which is not a nice thing to say out loud. Nobody chooses to be heartbroken. Well, this is even a sadder way of putting it. Or heartbreak has chosen you is how it feels more likely. That you are quite oh dear. You are quite heartbroken about this situation. And it stems from a lack of self-worth. I don't quite know. I mean, maybe you've given up too quickly in the past. Maybe you've given up on people too quickly in the past. Maybe you haven't given things enough time to try and develop into a good relationship. Or maybe you haven't given, maybe you've not given it enough time to try and build a family. Maybe you've given up a bit too quickly in the past. That's what it feels like, which is very sad. Because these things were at your fingertips. You could have had all your wishes coming true and you could have had the happy family. But you haven't got that. Or at least you don't feel like you've got it. It doesn't feel like you've got it. It feels like you've missed out. But it's got something to do with your worth. I hate to say it, but it feels to me like perhaps on one level, one fundamental level, you don't feel like you deserve it, which is utter nonsense, obviously. But there's a bit to unpick here. If this reading is resonating with you so far, I would like to offer a suggestion, which is that potentially I think you could do with maybe talking to somebody, potentially investigating some sort of counselling, which might help you to improve your self-worth and move you out of the situation where you feel like you've missed out on the things you want in life. Because I think here there is a sense that your perception is not correct. What you're perceiving your life to be one way, when in fact it can turn just on a tiny little tweak, could turn the whole thing around. Yeah. In the past, you had everything you wanted, I think. You had the home and the money and the position and the situation that you wanted. It was given to you. It feels like somebody gave you a lot. It feels like you were given, maybe you were given some money towards a house in order to move your life forward. Perhaps it was that sort of feeling. It feels like it's been given to you. You've been given opportunities and chances and financial support in the past. In the future, well, I'm just going back to the online dating, really. This is the card of electronic communication. So potentially you could be in touch with people via social media or online dating or whatever you, texts and emails. And if you're not really doing that, then I would suggest you might like to investigate it. I think I'm going to take a clarifier for that card. Why do we have the Page of Swords in the future position? Ooh. By the way, if you're worried this is going to be a gloomy reading, it's not, because the outcome is good. You can't see it just yet, but I can. The Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. Why do we have the Page of Swords or electronic communication in the future? because, and this is really excellent, because things are changing, and they're changing whether you do anything or not. The Wheel of Fortune is just rolling along. You don't have to do much. It's going to gather momentum as it goes. However, having said that, if what I said at the start resonated and you feel like you could do with some counselling, that will definitely help to get things moving. And the other card at the bottom of the deck, once I shuffled this time, was the Ace of Wands. You can create the life you want, and things are going to move forward. Things are actually moving forward, but it does hinge, and this is a card of creativity, it does hinge on you changing the way you view your situation. You need to create a change there. Create a change in your mind. Instead of viewing the situation that you don't have everything you want, you need to somehow or other change it into thinking that actually I have got most things I want. I have got a stable home. I've got enough money. I have a job. I have a, whatever it is you've got that's working for you, you need to be harnessing that energy in order to propel things to move forward, which they're going to do. A little bit more positive thinking is what is required. And also also wands are sort of dynamic energy. It's sort of the energy of getting things done. So if you feel like you're not good enough or not worth it, or you only got what you deserved, you might actually have to do something to change that mindset. Do something positive. Don't just think to yourself, oh, well, I'll try and think a bit more positively. That isn't really enough here, because you've been in this situation for a while. So it's time to actually do something about it. Do something, speak to someone, go to a class, go to a counsellor, do some meditating, listen to Abraham Hicks. You need to harness some positive thinking, and you need to do it in an actual practical way. I'm being quite firm here. If in your heart of hearts you've thought for a long time, actually, I need to do this, go to counselling, I need to speak to somebody about my mental health. If you've got that, if you've had that underlying feeling within you for a while, then I'm going to be firm. Now is the time to actually get on and do it. You need to harness this energy this month. Yeah, because what you can't see here is that we have the sun as the outcome, and that is Leo energy, and we're in Leo season now. So it needs harnessing now. Right, that was me being firm. Sorry for telling you what to do there. Let's move on. In your position, you're hoping for a happy ever after. You've got both the happy ever after cards. This one, though, this is the grown-up version with money and a house and a family. This one is, I can survive on fresh air and love as long as you're with me, that sort of feeling. So I feel like actually maybe you might be harnessing the wrong type of energy. Really and truly, you need to be looking for somebody who's going to provide you with the support and the stability that you want, instead of the person who makes you go a little bit weak at the knees, perhaps, or the person who you can't really see a long-term future with. There is no point, because if you can't see a long-term future with a person that you're dealing with, then and that is what you want a family. There is no point dealing with them. I'm sad to say, but that's true. Because if that is your goal, this is not the energy. You need to be more practical. As I said, it's the month or 6 weeks of actually doing something practical about the situation. The home family, well, you're looking further afield, and I think that's a great thing. And if you're not looking further afield, you need to start looking further afield. Broaden your scope of who it is you're looking for. If you're looking for a partner, broaden your scope of who might provide you with the family that you want if you're wanting to start a family. It's that sort of feeling. And that will change your vision of how to get what you want. Because don't forget that the Wheel of Fortune is moving things along anyway. So whilst it's moving things along anyway, you need to help it gain momentum. So broaden your view. The hopes and fears position, we have got the Knight of Cups. Of course, you're hoping for a masculine to come in and offer you his cup of love. Of course you are. That's what this reading is about. Potentially this is good. There's just one thing, one word of caution I'd like to say here. That the Knight of Cups, although he is loving and he is sincere, please be careful of what I've just said before about making sure that he's going to be able to provide you with what you want long term. Because there is a potential here that this masculine could come in and absolutely sweep you off your feet, but actually not land you in a nice house. And you don't really want that. He might land you in a bit of a ramshackle shed, for example. So just be careful. Put some checks in place before you allow somebody to sweep you off your feet to make sure they are actually going to deliver you the grown-up happy ever after that you want. I think I might take a clarifier for that card to see who that is. Who is the Knight of Cups who's coming in with an offer? Ooh. Well, we've got two here. This is good news. Somebody who's single and somebody who's quite determined, I think, to get to you. Somebody who's going to be determined to try and get you. Somebody who's financially stable and older. Who's going to provide you and support you and give you everything that you want, actually. He's going to be a real support. I don't think you're used to having that in your life. I think, it just flashed through my mind then. It was in Sense and Sensibility. Marianne and, what's his name? Colonel. She's a lot younger. He's older and stable and he adores her. And he is going to provide her with everything she wants. And it's that sort of feeling I'm getting. So if this resonates, if this reading is resonating with you and somebody a bit older than you wants to take you out, I would give them a go. Because potentially they'll be able to give you what you want. The outcome, we have the Six of Swords, which is quite interesting. Because that's moving from choppy waters into smooth sailing. It's also aided. It's somebody else is going to help you move this forward. And it's what I was saying before about it's time to take some practical action. And that will propel you forward into this fabulous, fabulous situation where we've got... Actually, let me put them in the right order. So this is the order I took the last three cards. Somebody is going to help you move your life forward to the happy ever after that you don't feel like you currently have. You need to harness some practical energy this month during Leo season. The Sun is the best card you can get in the deck. So your outcome is extraordinarily good. But you have to harness this energy and practically move things forward. And then what you will be left with is the Six of Cups, which is a soulmate, which is everything probably that you've been wanting for a long time. It's also, it could be somebody from your past as well. It could be reconnecting with somebody from your past. Wow. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't think there's much else to say. We've started with the feeling of not winning, not having what we wanted. And we're ending up with everything going our way. So, Cancer, this has been your reading for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe so that I can read your energy more easily, which will help me do more accurate readings for you in the future. If you would like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. But until next time, This has been the Timeless Tarot. Goodbye.